Thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Hi little doodles, it's Amanda, welcome back. How are you guys? How have you been doing? What's up? What's new? I can't tell whether time is moving slow or fast. All I know is that all of a sudden it is time for me to do my October plan with me. So I wanted to implement something a little bit new for this month's plan with me video, just because I feel like these videos are like my monthly check-ins with you guys. So I was thinking the other day that it would be nice if at the beginning of each plan with me video, I can tell you guys about my goal for the month, and you guys can also comment down below your goal for the month, whether it's like a big goal or a small goal. And then in the next plan with me video, the following month, I can check in with you guys again at the beginning of the video, let you know whether I've completed my goal, and also set a new goal for the following month. And it can kind of be like our way to keep each other accountable. It doesn't have to be anything serious, it can be like a small goal, but I think it'll be fun to just, you know, encourage each other in the comments of these Plan With Me videos for our monthly goals. In my previous Plan With Me video, I mentioned that I wanted to be working out more, eating healthier, and I definitely think I achieved that. I worked out twice a week, every single day for the past month, so round of applause for me, and I'm very proud of myself for that. But my goal for this coming month, which is October, I think is going to be to make more of an effort to reach out to friends, check in with them, maybe hang out with them, going on like quick walks, coffee. I feel like I'm the type of person where if I don't actively encourage myself to reach out to friends, then I can definitely kind of close inward on myself and be like, oh my gosh, like who would want to hang out with me? Everyone's too busy, blah, yada yada yada. But usually that's not the case. Usually you just have to be the one to initiate sometimes. So yes, that is my personal goal for October, and I want to know what yours are. I just feel like these monthly Plan With Me videos are a good opportunity to do that. I have blabbed on enough. I'm really excited for this month's setup. Without further ado, let's get on with my October 2021 bullet journal setup. Last month, I promised you guys that I was going to do a theme that had very fall, warm, cozy vibes, and of course I am delivering. So this month's theme is a library/reading/book theme. My main inspiration for this was looking at pictures of reading nooks and libraries on Pinterest. I always love looking at people's houses and rooms and interior design on Pinterest, but specifically I really love looking at what people do with the extra spaces in their houses, like that aren't bedrooms or kitchens or living rooms, kind of extra rooms that you can pretty much do whatever in. And when people are able to have the space to do something like a reading nook or a library, I just love it. It seems so lovely and cozy to just cuddle up and, I don't know, read a book, drink a cup of tea on a rainy day. I would love to be able to have a space like this in my apartment, but currently I live in a one-bedroom apartment in downtown Toronto, so that's not going to be possible for a while. But hopefully one day I can have my very own space that is dedicated to being cozy, because how amazing does that sound? But anyway, yes, I'm obsessed with looking up pictures of like libraries and reading nooks on Pinterest, so I wanted to create that on my bullet journal cover page. So as you can see, I've drawn a picture of an armchair, I have a little coffee table, and also, of course, a very large bookshelf in the back. And I wanted to kind of illustrate it in the same style as the lo-fi theme that I did a while back, because to me it gives off the same cozy vibes, so I did that. I have to mention, like I mentioned in the lo-fi theme video, it does seem like a lot of drawing, but actually if you break it down, drawing this type of stuff is super easy. I recommend you pause on my video if you're trying to recreate it, because a lot of this stuff is just simple basic shapes. Like the bookshelf, it's just obviously a lot of rectangles. Probably the hardest thing to draw is the armchair. So if any of you are scared or overwhelmed to try to recreate it, I promise if you break it down into simple shapes, you can do it. I know a lot of you guys are up for the challenge. I believe in you guys. But I do really love the way that this cover page turned out, and you'll see later the colors that I ended up choosing are very warm, cozy. I went for a lot of like brown, tan, beige tones, as well as a like sage olive green, which is one of my favorite colors right now, and to me it just screams fall. So another reason why I chose to do this theme is because personally I've been getting a lot more into reading lately. I will be the first to admit that I was never the biggest reader. I never used to enjoy reading. I would have much rather have spent my time watching a TV show or a movie because I'm a very visual person. But I have recently rediscovered the joy of reading. I remember being a really big reader when I was a child, but then I kind of like phased out of it. And now I feel like I'm getting back into reading, and there's actually a fun, cute little story as to how that happened, and I thought I would tell it as you guys are watching me do the rest of my quote page. Right now I'm just coloring stuff in with my markers, so we have some time for me to tell my story. But basically, when I was in Vancouver, I did a little park meet and greet. It was kind of like a busking session where I played some music with my friend Jennifer, and I just invited any little doodles who were free that day to come out and hang. And one of my viewers came, and she was an author. She actually gave me her book to read. She signed it. She said that my videos helped her meet her writing deadlines for her publisher and that she bullet journaled a lot. And it was just such a sweet moment. I don't know what it was about that moment, but it just made me realize, like, wow, my videos and what I do actually helps other people and affects other people's lives, which is a very cool thing to realize. Is like a very concrete thing to see, like this book. And obviously the author is so talented, she's so amazing, and she probably would have finished the book even if she hadn't watched my videos. But just the fact that I could be a small part of that project indirectly is very cool to me. And it was really special that our paths could cross in that exact location and time for us to meet in person. She gave me the book, it was signed. I went back home to Toronto, and obviously I saw this book and I was like, you know what, I have to read it. Like, I can't not read this book that a viewer gave me. So I read it, and it was such a cute, quick little read. It's called Made in Korea by Sarah Suk, and it, again, very quick and easy read, really fun and cute. And I think that was one of the main reasons why it was so enjoyable to me, is because it was such a quick read, which before, the major deterrence for me reading was just that it took up so much time, and I'm always kind of on a fast-paced schedule. So it inspired me to look up more books that were quick, easy reads like that. And I also got the help from some of you guys on Instagram with some book recommendations. So yeah, I've been getting a few more books in my collection and reading a few more. That is my fun little story. I think it's cool that a little doodle author was the reason why my love of reading that I had as a child has been kind of reignited. Who knows, maybe there are also some other little doodle authors watching this right now, and if you are, please leave the name of your book in the comments, or if you have any other book recommendations for me or other little doodles, leave them down below. I feel like we're all similar-minded people, so I trust your guys' book recommendations. I know I rambled over most of this spread, but as you can see, I'm doing a quote page. I drew a little doodle of a stack of books. There's a book that's open, and then above it, it just says chapter 10 because October is the 10th month. I also added a lot of paper scrapbooking elements throughout this setup. As you can see, of course, using some old book pages that obviously go really well with this theme. I think the text on the book pages kind of adds some dimension and texture to the illustrations, which I think looks really nice. And that paper that you saw on the quote page was actually some handmade Japanese paper that I got from a small store in Toronto called Hanji, and it has these really beautiful dried leaves and flowers in it. Currently I'm doing my monthly calendar page. For the title, I used my rubber alphabet stamps to give it that printed text look. I always get so many questions whenever I use these rubber alphabet stamps, so I'll link them down below in case you are curious about it. But for this monthly calendar spread, I didn't do a full 2-pager, I just did a half page where I have the calendar at the top and then I'm just listing out events in the bottom. Mostly because recently I've been finding that I want to add a lot more kind of sub notes to individual monthly events. So for example, if I have an appointment on a certain day, but I also want to remind myself to bring something for that day or something that I need to do for that specific appointment, then I have been wanting to add that. And if I confine myself to a small box that I normally use in the 2-page spreads, there's not really as much space to add those sort of footnotes for the events. So I've been trying to toy with the idea of doing this type of spread more often so that I'm able to do that. I just put the events title on the side there so that I can list it out at the bottom, and then I also just doodled a little stack of books as well. And other than that, I'm just adding the splashes of color with those neutral brown shades, as well as using the light neutral grid tape from the shop AmandaRachLee Light Neutral Basics set. On the other side of the spread, I created a monthly dashboard, is what I'm calling it. I just had these little modules and ideas of things that I wanted to note down for this month, but I didn't want to make full pages for any of them, so the top one, I have this book, and inside the pages I'm listing out the books that I'm currently reading for the month. Currently I'm reading One Last Stop by Kassy Mcquiston. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. And I have a couple other that I've been planning on reading hopefully by the end of the month. And then on the other side of that book illustration, I have TV shows that I'm keeping up with this month. I have been in a big, as you guys know, K-drama kick, so I'm currently watching Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha. I've been wanting to start Squid Game, and also I've been finishing up a couple other shows that I have never gone around to finishing for this month. You'll see as I continue drawing that the other sections on this dashboard page are section for my monthly goals, and then also at the bottom I added a package or a shipment tracker for things that I've purchased this month and I'm waiting on. I wanted to add a little section for that to help me keep track of it. I've done this in other months before and it's been really helpful, especially when I'm waiting on specific things and I just, sometimes I lose track in my mind. Anyway, that's everything for this spread. What should we talk about now that we're just waiting for me to finish this up? I never know what to talk about in these voiceovers. Oh, I guess I never talked about this on my YouTube channel or in an official video yet, but if you have been seeing on Instagram or YouTube Shorts or TikTok, something really exciting happened last month and maybe continuing on into this month as well. If you haven't seen it, I was a part of a YouTube Canada campaign which basically put billboards of Canadian creators all across Canada. One of the biggest placements was in Dundas Square outside of the Eaton Centre in Toronto, which if you don't know where that is, it's kind of like Toronto's smaller version of Times Square. They have all these billboards up, and now if you go there right now, my face is up there, which is so crazy. When I went to go see it for the first time, I had someone filming my initial reaction, so I posted that on my channel if you want to see it. But it was a very, very cool moment, and I'm still kind of overwhelmed by the whole thing. But I did just want to say thank you, because obviously you guys and you watching my videos over the past 8 to 9 years are one of the main reasons why I'm still doing this and why YouTube picked me for this campaign, so thank you. And yeah, if you want to go check it out, I'm across Canada on billboards. I don't even know where some of them are, but some people have been sending me pictures. Quick interruption, before I show you guys the rest of the spreads, I wanted to talk quickly about today's sponsor, Skillshare. If you guys don't know what Skillshare is yet, it is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creators. You can explore new skills, new hobbies, or just deepen your knowledge and experience with something that you already love. There's classes on illustration, design, calligraphy, lettering. I even have my own classes on Skillshare. They're exclusive, they're kind of fun. Just saying, if you want to see more of me, that's the place to do it. But even if you don't take my class, I'm sure you'll be able to find something else that you're interested in on their platform. Even though I teach classes on Skillshare, I also am a student of Skillshare. I take a couple of Skillshare classes, especially when I'm feeling uninspired. Currently, I'm taking a class called Find Your Style by Andy J. Pizza, and it's all about unlocking your creative, artistic identity and finding your art style. And what I love about Skillshare is that it's curated specifically for learning. There's no ads. I feel like the classes are definitely more in-depth than anything that you would be able to find on other platforms, and there's always new premium classes that they're releasing, so you'll always discover something new to learn. There's such a strong community on there as well. You can connect with other people who are taking the same classes as you and encourage each other, and it's honestly a very similar community to our community, the Little Doodles, which is why I know you guys will love it. Skillshare was kind enough to offer my subscribers a very special deal. If you are interested in trying it out, you can click the link in my description box down below. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click that link will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare, so definitely get on that. You guys know we love Skillshare on here. So anyway, without further ado, I will get you guys back to the video. Next up, I'm doing my habit trackers. This month, again, I opted not to do a mood tracker because I didn't feel like doing one. But for the header of the habit tracker, I used the book page as like a background for the habit tracker, which I also did on like some old kind of cream paper to make it look like book paper. By the way, these book pages are not from a new book. It was from an old book that I thrifted at a thrift store, and I looked it up to make sure that it wasn't like a special edition book or anything like that. So don't worry, I'm not ripping out pages from a new book. It was kind of like an old damaged book already. So yes, any book lovers out there, I'm sorry, there was a book harmed in the making of this, but I tried to make sure that it was not a special one. For the habit tracker calendars, I just drew these small rectangles with simple headers in those neutral colors. I also blocked off all those grid sections on the inside for me to fill out when I'm doing the specific habits. And the habits that I'm tracking this month are reading, of course, to go along with the theme, but also just in general. I'll probably add this to my habit trackers moving forward. I also have the usual suspects like working out, taking my vitamins, doing my vocal exercises. What else do I have? Stretching, stuff like that. And then at the bottom of the page, I filled the empty space with some book doodles. So I drew a stack of books with some books leaning on it. And then I also drew some books at different angles. So I have some that are half open, some with the pages fully open. It was really fun to draw these. I think book doodles are a cute doodle to do because they're quite simple to draw, but they look really nice and cozy, and you can really customize whatever you want depending on your color palette. Of course, I went with my neutrals, but if you chose a different color palette, all you have to do is change out the colors of the book covers. So the next spread that I'm doing is my monthly playlist spread, which I've missed doing because I didn't do one last month. And the theme for my playlist this month and the songs that I'm sharing are definitely very chill, cozy songs that are kind of softer, songs that you would be able to listen to while reading, because personally, I know some people might not like this, but I like to have very soft, low-key music while I'm reading just because it gives me some background noise. And it can't be anything too upbeat, or the lyrics can't be the focus, or else I'll just end up focusing on the music and not on the book. So I've kind of compiled some songs that I personally like to listen to while I'm reading, or even while I'm drawing or journaling or stuff like that, just because it helps me focus. It's kind of similar to the whole lo-fi thing, which you know I love, but recently I've been really into listening to bossa nova and jazz, which is the genre music that you're hearing right now for the background music of this video. And as you can hear with your ears, it is so relaxing, and it definitely gives you the vibe of, you know, being in a nice little cafe reading. So there are a ton of YouTube mixes that have some really good, you know, jazzy, bossa nova, lo-fi type mixes. So I'll link some of those down below in case you're curious as to what I listen to when I'm doing stuff like reading or journaling. So I listed those out. I also have a couple of songs that have, you know, softer vibes as well. So I put that on the left side of my playlist spread. So I'll link everything down below, basically. What I'm trying to say, I know I'm all over the place in this voiceover, but I basically have Spotify songs that I listen to. Some of them have lyrics, some of them don't. And then I also have some like YouTube mixes that are longer. They're like hour-long mixes, and those are for when I want a more uninterrupted stream of music. So I split up my playlist spread with that. Anyway, I don't know why that took me so long to explain. One of my current favorite YouTube mixes to listen to is by Cafe BGM channel, which is the same channel that did the Cafe Bossa Nova Jazz mix versions of the Studio Ghibli songs that I shared like a year ago. But this specific video does that same thing except for Norah Jones songs, who I love already. Her music as it is very jazzy and relaxing, but the Bossa Nova Jazz versions of these songs are even more relaxing and perfect to listen to while you're working. So definitely recommend that one. Everything will be linked down below in case you're in need of some nice, relaxing music to listen to. Okay, we're almost at the end of this setup here, but this next spread is basically just a brain dump page, except it is specifically for anything related to do with the 2022 Doodle Planner launch. I know I've been mentioning the Doodle Planner here and there in videos as I've been working on it this year, but we're coming up on the end of the year, and I can now say that November is when the 2022 Doodle Planner will be released. I can't give any more details on the specific date, but just know that it is coming, so I'm very excited for you to see it because I worked so hard on it this year. I made a couple changes to it that I think you guys are going to love, and it's been very fun. There are definitely a lot of things that I need to plan in relation to the launch, like taking specific pictures. There's a lot of organization things that I also need to keep track of, so I am in definite need of this planning space, which is why it's just 2 blank pages with a couple doodles. But yeah, get excited. I wish I could say more, but you guys will find out more about it soon anyway. Alright, lastly we have the first weekly spread of October. I kind of messed up. I don't know what I was doing when I was doing this weekly spread, but I was just kind of going based off of, what I had previously done. This weekly spread, you'll see that the numbers are actually for the last week of September. It kind of is like half and half. Half the last week of September, half the first week of October. Technically, it should have been a September spread because there are more September days, but I don't know, my mind just automatically just went to it in October, so I guess we ended the September theme a little bit early, which is fine. It just means that we'll have more weekly spreads with the book theme. So for this layout, I opted to do a spread that has a weekly events sidebar on the left side. As you can see, I drew it to make it look like a bookshelf because the weekly events sidebar taskbar always kind of looks like a bookshelf to me anyway, so I thought it was perfect for this theme. I drew 8 shelves on my bookshelf. The top one has some book doodles in it, and then the bottom 7 are for where I'll put my weekly events and appointments for each specific day. For the actual daily task boxes, as you can see, they're all on that right side, but I split the page up vertically into thirds. I believe the size of these daily boxes are 12 by 12 with 1 space in between. I wanted to keep it pretty simple, so the header is just a solid block of those neutral colors that I've been using with just the title of the day. I left some space for a doodle and a quote, but yeah, this layout is a layout that I used to do quite a lot back in the day when I first started bullet journaling, and I feel like I've come back to it. Especially recently, I've had a lot more like events and appointments as things are picking back up and kind of going back to real life. So I've been really liking having that events taskbar or sidebar on the side, just so that I can kind of have a visual of what my week looks like, and then those daily to-do tasks are more of the repetitive, mundane task list items. The only other thing that I did for this weekly spread is fill in those empty spaces with a couple of quick book doodles. So I have one at the top that is the book open with some reading glasses and a pen, and then at the bottom I drew a book stack. I think these book doodles look really cute with this like loose illustrative style. It definitely gives it more of that like vintage kind of handmade scrapbooky look to it. I'm also using a thinner fine liner throughout this setup than I normally use Normally, I'll use my Tombow Fudenosuke hard tip brush pen, which is obviously a little bit thicker for outlining, or I'll use like a 0.3 or a 0.5 fine liner, but this time I used 0.2 because I felt like it gives it more of like a pencil sketch type of vibe, which I think went with this theme really, really well. So yeah, that's it for this weekly spread. Again, sorry that it's kind of like a September week. That was my bad. But again, that just means we get to have fun with this cute book theme for an extra week, which I am not mad at. Alright guys, so we are done. Here's the full flip through of my October 2021 bullet journal setup with our reading slash book slash library theme. I loved this setup. I think it was also fun for me to make. Definitely very relaxing as I listened to jazz, and it has me ready for fall cozy season for sure. Alright guys, so that was it for my October 2021 plan with me. I hope you guys enjoyed. Of course, as usual, while we're closing off this video, here are some of your recreations from last month. Over here, look at them. They're so cute and beautiful and lovely. If you guys do recreate any of my spreads, whether it be this month's, previous months, I always love lurking through them and seeing all of your recreations. You can tag me on any social media platform. Recently I've been seeing a lot of recreations on TikTok as well, so you can tag me there. If you do want to see how the rest of my spreads for this month turn out, I do weekly live streams on Twitch. I do my weekly spread. It's a really fun time. You can chat, hang out with other little doodles, and I feel like it's a good way to also see how I create my weekly spreads because it's real time, so it's a bit more chill than these videos, and it's just a great way to start off your weekend. So come join us. Twitch links, all of that over here, and I think that is pretty much it. I talk a lot in these videos. I just realized how much I talk, but that's, you know, what can I do? I hope you guys have a lovely day, week, month, and I will see you in the next one. Keep doodling. Bye.